Good morning. I'm pleased to see so many of you here today. Our format for this morning's session will include a presentation by our candidate, Dr. Charles Ambrose, followed by a series of questions that were submitted by the campus community through their various representatives on the Presidential Search Advisory Committee. Evaluation forms are available. You should have picked one up on the way in. I strongly encourage you to complete that at the conclusion of the session this morning and turn it in outside the door on your way out. The forms will be begun to be reviewed this afternoon. So I repeat, please turn in your form following this session if you would. At this time, I would like to call on all the members of the Presidential Search Advisory Committee to stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service to the university. It is sincerely appreciated. I would also like to ask the Board of Governors members that are present to stand and be recognized. And I failed to acknowledge yesterday, and I want to make sure I do it this morning. This would not have been possible if it had not been for the good work of Monica Huffman. Monica, would you please stand and be recognized? Incredibly talented individual. It is a real joy to work with. Thank you so much. And Ken Hutchinson, our search consultant. Ken? Those two individuals have put in a lot of hours making it possible for us to have our finalists on campus before the end of the semester, and we sincerely appreciate that. At this time, it is my sincere pleasure to present to you Dr. Charles Ambrose, President of Pfeiffer University. Dr. Ambrose's credentials are available on the website, and the link was sent out with a press announcement, so I don't want to repeat all that here. I just want to give you a little bit of a background highlight on his career. Dr. Ambrose received his bachelor's in sociology from Furman University, his master's in educational administration from the University of Louisville, and his doctorate in higher education administration from the University of Georgia. I personally found his doctoral dissertation topic to be interesting because it focused on the perspectives of academic freedom among faculty and administrators. When Chuck was appointed president of Pfeiffer, he was the youngest serving president of a college or university in North Carolina, and he's currently the second longest serving president of 36 independent colleges and universities in North Carolina. Pfeiffer operates an undergraduate campus in Meisenheimer, located in central North Carolina. They also offer two urban campuses in Charlotte and the Research Triangle Park, and these serve the needs of working adults. As Pfeiffer's chief executive officer, Dr. Ambrose's leadership has contributed to the development of many new academic programs and initiatives at Pfeiffer, as well as significant strides in enrollment growth. He is credited with the design and implementation of the Pfeiffer Initiative, the strategic plan for the future of the university. Dr. Ambrose has also been instrumental in improving the investment of capital resources in the physical plant, revitalization, charitable giving, and fiscal renewal. Resources for instructional technology and faculty development were expanded through a Title III grant, and in 2008, the university and its mission to prepare servant leaders were recognized within the new Carnegie classification for community engagement. Pfeiffer University is home to the Greystone Day School, the only charter school in partnership with the college in North Carolina. Dr. Ambrose is active in intercollegiate athletics, having served as past president of the Division II President's Council, chair of the Game Environment Advisory Committee, and member of the Executive Committee of the NCAA. He also served as the executive assistant to the president of the American Association of State Colleges and Universities in Washington, D.C. Dr. Ambrose led the advancement team and was executive director of the foundation at Western Carolina University and has taught graduate level courses in the School of Education. He also served as vice president for advancement at Carson Newman College. Dr. Ambrose, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Wright, and certainly appreciate that invitation. There may be a few parts of my comments that will probably fill in some blanks that bios and resumes and vitas don't really complete, but I'll be glad to answer any questions as the day moves forward, and certainly have looked forward to this opportunity. We're here, and I say we, my wife Chris is with me. She's here in the third row, and I'd recognize Chris if you'd stand. with a real deep-seated sense of appreciation and honor. I first want to thank Dr. Wright and members of the search committee, the Board of Governors, and now you, a campus community, for this invitation. And it's an invitation that's very exciting to really discuss what is the future of the University of Central Missouri, and really take a little time just to think about what's possible. Because asking that question of what's possible is very important today, and certainly reaching potential. There certainly is an urgent need for strategic leadership in higher education, and I know you as a campus here in the state of Missouri have two very strong competing forces at work. First, you're charged to put your students as graduates, which is coming now, what, a week and a half, as graduation nears, as really a critical component of the nation's response to reclaiming global competitiveness. At the same time, you're being asked to do that with a reduced set of resources. And those, how you respond and how we respond in higher education may reshape public policy for higher education for the next 25 years. And it's the how we respond that's probably as important as what we do in the immediacy. Because many times urgency doesn't always equal priority, does it? And so we need to make very strong strategic decisions that are really based on a change in the fabric of public policy that's as dramatic as perhaps the late 70s or early 80s, when the federal government shifted from grants to loans. That was one of the critical components that now we're living with all the way through of how we finance public higher education, and more particularly how our students will afford higher education. And that's that balance between affordability and access that's so critical for the world today, and certainly this state and this institution. Why am I here? Really on two very specific, different and distinct levels. One on a personal level. A little bit about my journey. It has been shaped certainly by a parent's and both parents' commitment to lifelong learning. I had two parents, and I'm an only child, and here's one of the first disclaimers. I was an only child and a minister's kid. That's a double whammy. Could have been the worst on the street or the best, and you never really know. But my parents were lifelong learners. My father, as a minister, was the first person I knew that got a Macintosh computer. And my friends thought he was really something for doing that. But he also went back and continued his education at age 63 to get his doctorate degree. My mom's 85, and she was a nurse anesthetist. And she maintained a nursing's license up until she was 80, even though she hadn't practiced nursing for the last 20 years. And they encouraged, certainly, me to consider education in its place in life, in terms of who you are and what you value and what you become. Little did I know what that encouragement would yield. Because ultimately I'm here because of the undergraduate experience and the people that wrapped their arms around Chris and I both as a part of our educational experience. I will tell you a little secret. I met Chris the first week of freshman orientation. We had a welcome week. She was a golfer from New Hampshire. I was coming out of high school in New Jersey. I went up to her in a good, confident freshman way and introduced myself. And in that good New England pragmatism, she looked at me like, drop dead, get out of my face, and I don't want to see you again. I took that pretty seriously because it wasn't until our last semester of senior year that we formed a relationship, and it's been a 25-year marriage that has been focused and centered around the opportunities. And I will say a real sense of indebtedness. That's one of the reasons that I'm here this morning, indebted to those who made a difference in shaping who we became and what we value and what we've become. It was an undergraduate experience that was transformational. The sitting president at Furman at the time was a man by the name of Dr. John Johns. I had a very close personal relationship with my college president. There were two retired presidents that were very active in the life of Furman as we experienced our undergraduate years. Dr. Gordon Blackwell was the father of student development, a sociologist that was president of Florida State and then a past president of Furman.